Coming up on Mountain News at 6, Congressman and U.S. Senate candidate Andy Barr releases a plan in Harlan County that he says will create jobs and lower energy costs. And the man accused of kidnapping a 13-year-old girl is arraigned in Rockcastle County.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A U.S. Senate candidate is turning to coal country to lay out his vision for the future of energy and technology. Today in Harlan County, Congressman Andy Barr toured a coal mine and announced a plan he says could put Kentucky at the center of America's growing AI industry. WYMT's Caroline Mueller has more.
At the historic Portal 31 coal mine in Lynch, Andy Barr said coal is not a thing of the past, but a key part of America's future and national security.
To the critics of the coal industry who say that the days of coal mining are over, let me be very, very clear. Those people are wrong. They are dead wrong. In fact, there is a future for coal, not because we just want it to be the future. We have to have it in order for us to win the race for the future technologies.
Barr says demand for electricity is surging, driven by data centers and artificial intelligence. But coal-fired power plants have continued to shut down.
We're facing a self-inflicted energy crisis. We've lost about 290 coal plants to premature retirements over the last 15 years or so. That has removed tens of gigawatts of capacity over the past decade alone, and electric grid reliability is collapsing. Rainbow Johnson worked in the coal industry for nearly 5 decades. He says energy reliability is critical for the country's future.
I experienced the ups and downs of coal mining through the administration changes. You can see that it's been down for many years, but we can vision the future of coal mining in this area for AI and the importance of energy throughout the whole country.
Barr says his plan focuses on bringing reliable power and critical mineral production back to Kentucky.
The race for AI is now. It's not 10, 20 years in the future. It's right now. And as the CEO of NVIDIA said, we are nanoseconds ahead of China. We are not light years ahead of China. We have to stay moving fast ahead.
Barr plans to push the proposal in Washington and make energy a central issue in his run for the U.S. Senate. In Harlan County, Caroline Mueller, WYMT Mountain News.
During that announcement, Barr was joined by dozens of current and former coal miners, along with city and county leaders. An inmate at the Eastern Kentucky Correctional Complex in West Liberty died Sunday after an assault. Kentucky State Police say correctional officers found 49-year-old Marcus Gray of Corbin unresponsive in his cell. Gray was flown to the University of Kentucky Hospital where he later died. Investigators say Gray had been assaulted by 32-year-old John Thomas. No charges have been filed at this time, but the case will be presented to the Morgan County grand jury. It was the question on the top of everyone's minds for more than 2 months. Where is Winter Wagner? Police say they got their answer Friday, December 26th. That's when they found the missing 13-year-old a couple states away in Maryland with 37-year-old Christian Delgado. Delgado appeared before a Kentucky judge for the first time this morning. Then later this afternoon, federal, state, and local authorities held a news conference about the case. Maggie Rickerby was there.
Thousands of civilian volunteers and people who called and cared and prayed. You made the difference.
After more than 2 months of searching, investigators say 13-year-old Winter Wagner was found in a home in Maryland with 37-year-old Christian Delgado. He was arrested that day and charged with kidnapping. Officials say it was also the efforts of multiple agencies across state lines, including U.S. Marshals and the FBI.
Here in southeastern Kentucky, it doesn't matter what badge you have. What matters is that we are a team.
According to Delgado's arrest warrant, he met the teen online and drove from Florida to Kentucky to pick her up, then drove her back to Florida and eventually to Maryland. Monday afternoon at a press conference, U.S. Marshals confirmed Winter called her aunt and her dad to tell them where she was. U.S. Marshals got a team together within minutes to find her and arrest Delgado. Now, Deputy U.S. Marshal Collier Phillips says a federal detainer has been lodged on Delgado for a federal complaint warrant.
37-year-old Christian Delgado appeared in court today for an arraignment. He pleaded not guilty to a felony charge of kidnapping.
Just been retained by the family. I've not had the opportunity to see the evidence, so I'm not comfortable making any comments about the evidence or about the strength of the case or the weakness of the case at this time.
Delgado's lawyer, Christopher Spedding, asked the court to lower his client's bond, but Judge Catherine Sloan denied the request. Delgado was scheduled to have a preliminary hearing March 11th, but officials expect he will be indicted here in Kentucky before the end of the month. As one missing girl is found, Kentucky State Police Trooper Scotty Pennington has a message to parents.
Be nosy with your children. Be nosy when they're playing somebody on their little Xbox or their PlayStation game and they're talking to them and maybe they're talking a little inappropriate. You don't know where that monster is hiding.
Officials say a federal criminal investigation remains ongoing. In Rockcastle County, Maggie Rickerby, WKYT.
Delgado is still being held in the Rockcastle County Jail on a $1 million bond. In Knox County, 2 people from Tennessee were arrested after police say they found drugs, cash, and a weapon inside a vehicle. It happened at approximately 11 a.m. when troopers were patrolling US 25E. They say the vehicle was traveling 98 miles per hour, which prompted troopers to pull the vehicle over. KSP says they learned the vehicle had been reported as stolen. The suspects, whose names were not released, were taken to the Knox County Detention Center. A Martin County man is behind bars after police say he stole his girlfriend's vehicle while going into labor. The incident happened last Saturday. It started when police received a report about a Ford Fusion being stolen from Pikeville Medical Center. Police say the vehicle later pulled into an area where a hotel was. They later came into contact with Christopher Mollett. Police say Mollett had taken the vehicle while his girlfriend had gone into labor. Police in Laurel County took a man to jail after they found a substance they thought was meth as well as other drugs. London police arrested 53-year-old Lanny Griffith. It happened last week when officers noticed Griffith did not use a turn signal while leaving Jerry's Road. That's when they pulled him over. Griffith was arrested after he admitted that all of the drugs police found belonged to him. A New Year's party lands a Southern Kentucky middle school teacher in some trouble. Lincoln County deputies say children between the ages of 13 and 17 were drinking at Jessica Berry's home. She's charged with third-degree unlawful transaction with a minor. Alyssa Williams spoke with the Lincoln County Sheriff about that situation.
Lincoln County Sheriff Sean Hines says it's a situation that's left several community members concerned. A middle school teacher cited after her child had friends over for a New Year's Eve party. Hines says a deputy got a tip there was underage drinking at Jessica Berry's home in Stanford, leading deputies to her home around 1:30 that morning.
Her statement at that time was that, yes, there was teenagers at her house that was aware that they had brought alcohol, that somebody had brought alcohol to the party, and but nobody was, her statement, nobody intoxicated, nobody falling down drunk, nothing like that.
Hines says after deputies conducted other interviews, they discovered around 20 teens, ages 13 to 17, were at her home and that several kids were intoxicated. He says deputies went back to Berry's home later that day, where she admitted she knew kids were drinking.
So occupation of a teacher, there's greater consequences.
Because Berry was forthcoming with information, Hines says she was not arrested, but cited with third-degree unlawful transaction with a minor. Hines says the situation should serve as a lesson for parents that you have to be more vigilant, whether that be what your kids are doing when they're going out with their friends or even what they're doing with their friends inside your own home.
Do we see stuff like this happen and parents have no idea? We do. It might not seem like much for Miss Berry at the time. You know, she's having a child's friends over But as parents, we've got to do a better job of overseeing when we have gatherings like that.
Lincoln County Schools officials say Barry is on administrative leave while this situation is being investigated. In Lincoln County, Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
Barry is set to be arraigned on January 26th.
Hi everybody, Chris Bailey with you on a Monday. I hope you guys are enjoying a great evening out there across the mountains where we've had sunshine for the better part of the day. Yeah, we had a little cloud cover. That's the view a little bit ago out of parts of Pikeville. Forecast out there tonight, partly cloudy skies, temperatures generally into the 40s for a low temperature tonight on a strong southwest wind that's just going to continue to gust up across not only eastern, southeastern Kentucky, but areas all across the eastern half of the country dealing with this big mild surge yet again. Radar picture, we're dry across the coal fields. We're dry across the bluegrass region of central Kentucky back toward the Jackson Purchase area, he says. Almost combined the two words. That mild southerly flow going to continue with us ahead of a couple of systems that will impact us by the end of the week. It's the system that rolls in here by the weekend that has the opportunity to bring us some thunderstorms and then winter showing up behind it. We'll take a look at that in just a few.
Chris, thank you. Starting tomorrow, Kentucky's community action agencies will begin accepting applications again to the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP. The program aims to provide heating assistance to homes in need during the winter months. Eligible households include those facing heating emergencies like imminent loss of heat or low fuel supply. Applications will be accepted on a first-come, first-served basis until the funds are gone. The Floyd County Health Department says there are at least 4 new cases of whooping cough. This is on top of the 17 confirmed cases the department confirmed from all of 2025, most of those at the end of the year. Officials say pertussis symptoms may include runny nose, nasal congestion, sneezing, and a mild cough that can worsen through time. Officials say the best way to guard against it is to stay up to date on recommended vaccinations. The WYMT Winter Blood Drive with the Kentucky Blood Center continues until 7 o'clock tonight outside the station here in Hazard. We've seen a steady stream of blood donors all afternoon long. Great to see that. WYMT's Neely Green joins us live with more from outside the KBC Bloodmobile. Neely.
Yes, Steve, I'm currently right outside the blood drive. We've had a lot of folks in and out today. Honestly, a pretty consistent line of people. But to talk about the donation process, it's pretty simple. You get to the Bloodmobile and you register to donate. From there, you'll be asked for a screening where a KBC official will ask you questions to make sure your health is up to date, that you won't have any problems donating. Then you'll move to the actual donation process. And I've spoken to many folks here today who tell me it's pretty easy, especially for someone who's a first-time donor, someone like Tiffany Ambergy, and she tells me she donated because of the critical need of blood.
I actually saw a Facebook post saying that they were in major need and that the supply was running pretty short, so we both decided just to come over here on a whim.
Yeah, the process all in all takes about 30 to 40 minutes. Pretty simple in and out, but if you want to come donate, come still. There's plenty of time to donate. We've got a little under an hour. They leave at 7, so there's still plenty of time to come donate, and you can come, donate, get a hoodie, and everything like that. And we really appreciate your help, but for now, I'll send it back to you, Steve.
All right, Neely, thank you. And typically the slowest hour is the final hour, so especially if you're here in Hazard thinking about donating, just come on up. We hope to have the final results from the blood drive coming up tonight at 11. The goal was 19 units of blood. I think we probably exceeded that already, so we certainly, again, want to thank everyone that came out today.